Hey guys, we are going to be doing lesson 5-4, which is solving proportions today. There's just one vocab word, cross products. If you would go ahead, do your heading and that vocab word, and then come back. Cross products is an awesome thing with ratios. The way that we can figure out if ratios are equivalent. It's a way that we can solve a ratio. So if we have two ratios, but one of the numbers is missing, we can solve for that missing number really easily. So what cross product says, if we have two ratios, A over B and C over D, if we actually take those two ratios and we do cross products, cross multiply, people like to call this the butterfly method. We're going to take A times D and B times C, and those are going to be equivalent. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. You're cross multiplying across the cup, multiplying across the equal sign, and you're going to end up with A times D equals B times C, and that is mathematically true. It's awesome. So if we have two ratios, such as 5 to 6, and 15 to 21. We learned in the last section we could figure out if these were proportional by saying, okay, well, 5 times 3 is 15, but 6 times 3 is not 21. So we already know that they are not proportional, but let me show you with cross products or cross multiplying that we can also tell that. So we're going to take 6 times 21 and get 105. If I take 6 times 15, that equals 90. So that again shows that these are not proportional. Sometimes, based on whatever numbers you have, sometimes it's easier to do this cross multiplication to see if your numbers are proportional. The next problem is talking about making paint. So if any of you have had the opportunity to go to your local hardware store and see paint mixed, which chances are during this pandemic, you've probably painted a room in your house and maybe you got to go and see the paint mix. It's a really cool thing. They take a white can of paint and they put so many drops of the primary colors, so red, yellow, blue. They put in so many drops of each of those colors and it makes the color you want. And if you've ever looked at those paint swatches that they have in hardware stores, there's like thousands of different colors that they can make. And it goes back to ratios and how many drops of yellow, how many drops of red, how many drops of blue do they put into that can before they mix it up to make your color. So this is saying that one shade of paint is 7 parts green and 5 parts yellow, and they are going to mix up 21 quarts of green. So you want to keep the greens together on the bottom, and 15 quarts of yellow. And they want to make sure that that's going to be the same color paint. So what we're going to do is do cross products and say 7 times 15 is equal to 5 times 21. If these end up being equal, that means they're good to go. They're going to get the same color paint. If not, they're not going to get the same color and they want to rethink this. Check that out. They're equivalent, so they're good if they mix 15 quarts of yellow and 21 quarts of green. They would get the same exact color as if they mixed 5 parts yellow and 7 parts green. So say 5 drops of yellow and 7 drops of green mixed together would get you that same exact color paint. The next one, this is where we start to solve for a missing number. So for most people, the ratio of your head length, so how long your head is, to your total height from your head to your toes, is 1 to 7. So your head height to your total height is 1 to 7 for most people. If a person's height is 56 inches tall, 56 inches tall, what should the length of that person's head be? Seems like a mean question. So we know that it should be equivalent to the ratio 1 to 7. So we're going to think about cross multiplying here and say 1 times 56 is going to equal 7x. So 56 equals 7x. We divide by 7, basically our variable, which is x. And we get that this person's head should be 8 inches tall. Now, Mrs. Koenig says, even if their head is not 8 inches tall, we should still love them, right? But statistically, I suppose, given this ratio, if a person is 56 inches tall, their head should be 8 inches. Go ahead, measure your height, measure your head. See, see if your head is in proportion with the rest of the country, or the rest of the world, I guess. The next example here, we have that a helicopter used for firefighting travels 25 miles in 20 minutes. So again, I love to label these. It helps you keep everything lined up. It says, at this rate of speed, how long will it take the helicopter to reach a fire that is 60 miles away? So what's super important is that you keep the miles on the top here. So we have 25 miles and 60 miles. We have 20 minutes, and then this is going to be X minutes. So if we cross multiply here, we are going to get this. And then if we multiply that out, we're going to have 1,200. And then we divide by 25. And we would get 44 minutes. So it's going to take that helicopter, 48 minutes. Sorry about that. It's going to take that helicopter 48 minutes to get to that fire. One more example here. This one is a literature example. Zelenak would like this one. If you guys were reading a book and it was a 374-page book, how many of you just went, yeah, no, I'm not reading a 374-page book? If you were reading a 374-page book and it took you 6 days to read the first 132 pages. So you read 132 pages in 6 days. They want you to figure out, if you keep reading at that same pace, how many more days will it take you to finish this novel? We know that it's taking 132 pages. Took us 6 days to read that. We're trying to figure out how long it's going to take us to read the whole thing. So we are going to cross multiply. Divide. And whoops, that's the wrong problem. We got 17 days. Now this cross multiplication, we already read these pages, right? It took us 6 days to read those pages. This is the total number of pages for the book. So we're not quite done because we've already read all of these pages. If that whole book is going to take us 17 pages or 17 days, and we already read for 6 days, how many days do we have left to read? 11. We would have 11 days left of reading in this 374 page book. I hope it's a good book, page turner. Maybe I'll read it a little faster. Alright, so what I want you guys to do here is 17 to 27, just the odds. 17 to 27 odd, and this is page 240. I will see you back with that homework review soon. Take care, guys.